Alright everybody, you are now listening to Uncontested with Rob and Mania. I'm Rob.
And I'm Mania.
And he is Mania, and now we are in our post-NFL edition episode, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl aftermath, how the Super Bowl was to us personally. We're going to talk about how if Saquon Barkley or Baker Mayfield truly deserved the Rookie of the Year. Of course, it went to Saquon Barkley. We're going to talk about if Patrick Mahomes was deserving of the MVP. Am I missing any other NFL topics?
Other than the just MVP Super Bowl, not really.
Oh yeah,
no.
And also the MVP of the Super Bowl, was Julian Edelman deserving of it or not? And then we're finally going to end the show with a little bit about the Alliance of American Football, or the AAF, and we're going to talk about what we expect out of that, what are expectations, realistically what it's going to do probably, and then we'll probably end the show. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter of an episode just because we did that special 2-hour, longer episode last week, and it's the end of the NFL season right before baseball starts, so we're kind of in a dry spot. So, here we are. We're going to go ahead and get started though right away with the Super Bowl aftermath and what we think of the Super Bowl, how it was for us personally. And of course, for me, it was a great event. I really enjoyed the Super Bowl because my team, like I predicted last week, won the game, Mania.
It was boring.
All right, you can go ahead though, and you can have the floor first on this one because your team lost, and you're the loser. You were in sorrow.
Yeah,
you were in great. Hold on. You were in great sorrow in the live stream. You even said, and I quote, "Fuck this, I'm out. I can't take this." You rage quit the live stream and went on home and probably cursed Tom Brady a few more times. And go ahead, it's your turn now. I'm not done. It's not my turn yet, but I was setting it up. I'm gloating.
Yes, go ahead. It was this was a honestly, Tom Brady did not play well enough to win the Super Bowl. The defense won it. It was not a good Super Bowl. A defensive Super Bowl where no one was doing anything for the majority of the game. It was boring. It sucked. Nothing was happening. And then to top it all off, the Patriots won again because the Rams just couldn't do anything in offense.
So this was the worst Super Bowl of all time to you?
It's the worst Super Bowl I've ever watched. I wouldn't say of all time because I don't know all the Super Bowls, but this one was the first one I've ever seen. This one in my lifetime, it just seems like the worst one. It was boring. Horrible team won. No matter which team won, it would have been a horrible team that won with the way they played. But to top it off, it was the fucking Patriots that won, and it was Tom fucking Brady. And now he has another ring, and he's gonna be able to brag about it, and you're gonna be all gloating.
Okay. Hello?
In Super Bowl 51.
Oh, you're cutting out really bad. Hold on.
What was that?
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that because you cut out the entire time.
Oh, that's really?
Yeah, well, I don't even remember. You said something about just try to remember back to I don't know. I tried to interrupt you, but it was cutting out and everything. And
okay.
You were talking about. I asked you if it was one of the worst Super Bowls of all time, and you said no because you hadn't seen any of them. So it was somewhere right after that.
I said no because it's not the worst because I haven't seen all the Super Bowls, but it is definitely the worst one out of all that I have seen. Right. And I think like the first one I truly watched was Super Bowl 49 or something like 47. It's the one with the Rams versus the 49ers. With Colin Kaepernick. The blackout Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah, that one.
Yeah, so that's the first one I truly saw, and from there all the way to this one's the worst. It was like boring. Nothing happened on offense. Like no matter who won, it would have been a horrible team. The Rams did horrible. The Patriots did horrible. It was an ugly defensive display, and Tom Brady won again. Like it was just it's just like fuck this game, fuck this year. It was as if the Rams didn't even deserve to be there.
Yeah. Is that all you got, or do you?
Just fuck Tom Brady, fuck this, fuck everything. Go ahead, go.
All right, so I'm here to defend this Super Bowl in general as probably one of the better Super Bowls for a defensive Super Bowl that we've ever had. It is far, far, far from the worst. I can name a few Super Bowls off the top of my head that were, I guaranteed, worse Super Bowls to watch than a game that was tied 3-3 with 7 minutes left in the game. Remember, that was the score with 7 minutes left in the game. We're all spoiled by a big offensive era. In any other era of the Super Bowl era, this would have been an instant classic game. And I think in history, it'll be looked at in a much more positive light. For example, in Super Bowl XXIV, the San Francisco 49ers blew out the Denver Broncos 55-10. Much worse Super Bowl. Super Bowl XX, the Chicago Bears beat the New England Patriots 46-10. Super Bowl XLVII, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Denver Broncos 43-8. Super Bowl XXVII, Dallas Cowboys 52, Buffalo Bills 17, and then Super Bowl XX2, which is 22, the Redskins beat the Broncos 42-10. Now, you can't tell me that any of those games were better than the one we just seen, which it was 3-3 with 7 minutes remaining in the game, and there was still a chance that the other team could actually come back and tie it if everything went their way. Sure, it wasn't the Rams versus the Chiefs in the middle of the season when 106 points were scored, but we've seen a defensive genius face an offensive genius, and the results were pretty cool. It was a defensive struggle. I know I might be looking at it through rose-tinted glasses because my team won, but really, in retrospect, even if my team would have lost 13-3, it's one of those things you have to look back at and go, wow, that was really cool to watch, especially even considering that we just had a defensive Super Bowl in this era. That is incredible. It defies the logic of the game right now. It defies the current going that it's an offensive league. Guess what happened? Two defenses just had the Super Bowl spotlight for them. Offenses were irrelevant in that game. And I think that is quite incredible considering the era that we're in. It's the offensive passing era, and defenses dominated the Super Bowl. It was 3-3 with 7 minutes left. I think in history we're going to look back at this Super Bowl as a rarity and a very good spectacle in sports, considering the two teams that were playing, considering the era, and just considering everything. This shouldn't have been a 13-3 game. It's an incredible thing to have happened. And I think we all in history will also look back at it as the day Brady got his 6th ring. Of course, we're all sick of the current Patriots dynasty right now, but in history we'll all be like, wow, that was a pretty cool Super Bowl to win your 6th one on. You won your first one against that team and potentially the last one against the same team. It's just cool. The whole thing was cool, and even if my team would have lost, it would have been a cool game just because of the circumstances of the game. I'm done.
You're done?
Yep. Okay,
yeah, it was just a sucky Super Bowl. It was.
You're just looking at it through, what did you want it to be? 100 to 100? I just gave you a lot worse.
That was... that would have just gotten boring as well, because that's just too many big plays.
Would it have been better if the Patriots lost?
If at least that sting would be gone. It still would have been a bad Super Bowl, but
Not
at
really.
least
I just gave you so many more valid reasons to why it was a good Super Bowl. You can't even come up with one that it was bad because the Patriots lost. That's not a valid reason. Or the Patriots won. Not a valid
because
reason.
Nothing happened for 15, 30, 40 for over 45 minutes.
For over 45 minutes, it was it was a defensive shootout. Like it was a defensive, like dominating game in an offensive era, which shouldn't happen. Like that game shouldn't have happened the way it did, considering the era that we're in, the rules, the two Josh McDaniels, Tom Brady versus Sean McVay, Jared Goff. I mean, but the story of the game turned out to be Wade Phillips versus Bill Belichick and Brian Flores. Okay. And you mean to tell me that was just like a boring, bad Super Bowl with nothing going on? No, there was a lot going on. But to the untrained or maybe spoiled football eye, yeah, it was boring Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, you could call me a spoiled Super Bowl person then, because yeah, first one I saw was the Blackout Super Bowl, and they've all been pretty close and big since then.
Yeah, they've all been dramatic. That game just wasn't that dramatic unless you count, being tied at 3 points in the with 7 minutes to go dramatic, which I do.
Okay. Yeah, and what sucks is like this one, it's basically kind of confirms Tom Brady over Peyton Manning when it comes to the points numbers into my ranking system.
Yeah, that kind of fucked that all up, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I know. Now it's Brady #1, like it should have been.
No, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
But
I'm ready. I'm gonna change the system then. If that's how it is, I can change the system.
It'll still be incorrect.
Okay. Let's move on to
this. Yeah, let's move on to the Rookie of the Year, SAQUON Barkley. I think he went over just over 2,000 total scrimmage yards with rushing and receiving, and he ended up winning the Rookie of the Year over Baker Mayfield, who set the rookie passing touchdown record, who many thought was actually going to win the award. Quarterback's a harder position to play. It's a more valued position than running back. Baker was more transcendent, but they ended up giving the award to SAQUON Barkley, the media darling, the media favorite. I think I go first on this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Okay, and I think that's a goddamn travesty that SAQUON Barkley was given Rookie of the Year over Baker Mayfield. For a few reasons. First being stability of the organization within each was drafted into. The New York Giants are a far more stable organization, good for rookies, than one Cleveland Browns, who just lost all their games, have John Dorsey at GM, Hugh Jackson, then had a new coach in Greg Williams take over, who's a hard ass, not completely different than Hugh. Now he's going to have another year. So Baker's been through a ton of adversity in his first year in the NFL compared to SAQUON, who had to deal with the media talking about if Eli Manning should retire. Not much adversity going on there, in my opinion. I also think Baker plays a tougher, more valuable position in today's NFL, which is starting quarterback compared to starting running back, which you can split carries and kind of get your load off if you need to. Whereas Baker has to be involved in he's involved in every offensive snap. He played extremely well. He won 7 games, which is more than Cleveland's won. I don't know how many years combined in the last 5 years, maybe. Combined, I don't think they've won 7, so that's incredible. He threw for 28 touchdowns, which is the NFL rookie record. I mean, he's a transcendent type player because he really changed the direction and face of the Cleveland Browns from laughing stock to almost making the playoffs this year to we don't know what they're going to be next year, but there's some kind of goddamn promise and potential coming from the team, isn't there? Whereas the Giants... What's up? Sorry.
Yeah, there's definitely promise.
Yeah, whereas I feel like if you were a good running back in college, as SAQUON was, I feel like that skill translates to the NFL a little easier. Good at running in the open field, good at catching the ball, you're probably going to just, do those skills in the NFL once you get the speed down, and SAQUON never really struggled with the speed. It's hard to go against SAQUON. He is deserving of the award. That's the weird part. I'm not that opposed to him having won the award, but it's a shame considering the difficulty in which Baker was drafted into, the expectations of being a starting quarterback in the NFL, succeeding as a young rookie, which is very rare. Look at Sam Darnold and look at Josh Allen and look at Rosen, look at Carson Wentz's first year. It wasn't the greatest before he got hurt anyway, and then he always is getting hurt, so that doesn't really matter that much. But either way, I think I should have went to Baker Mayfield for those reasons. Quarterback's a harder position. The stability of the Cleveland Browns should have made him lose more games. He won 7 games. SAQUON won 5, if you want to be technical. SAQUON, he's good, but I just think Baker should have been the Rookie of the Year. Go ahead, Mania. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree on. Yeah, SAQUON is good, but I agree it should not have been SAQUON. He did do. I have all the stats here. He did 1,307 rushing yards, 11 rushing touchdowns, and which equals 5 yards per carry and 81.7 yards per game. He had 91 receptions, 721 receiving yards.
I was gonna say he went over 2,000.
Yeah, total 1,307 plus 721. That equals over 2,000.
Yeah.
721 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, but he added 2 wins to this team. His addition, last year they went 3-13. This year they went 5-11. He added 2 wins. He was good though. He did all this, but like you said, the running back's not as important of a position, and he only added 2 wins to the game. He didn't do too much to the team. What's his name?
Baker.
The other guy, the quarterback, Baker Mayfield. He's in the Browns. That's like the first thing that fucked them. If you do anything in the Browns, it's like you should almost get an award for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he had a 63.8% completion percentage, which is not the best, but it's high up there for rookies. He got 3,725 yards, which again, it's not the best, but it's really high up there for rookies. I think the best was somewhere close to almost 4,000.
I think Mahomes threw for 5,000.
Yeah, Mahomes threw for 5,000. I didn't say 5,000. I said almost 4,000.
Yeah.
7.7 yards per throw, 27 touchdowns, only 14 interceptions. That's pretty high, but again, he's a rookie, and again, like you said, he broke a record. SAQUON didn't break any record. Baker Mayfield broke the touchdown record, and I'm pretty sure he was close to breaking the yards, total yards record. And I'm pretty sure it was close to 4,000, not 5. And while SAQUON added 2 wins, Baker Mayfield added 7. He added 7 wins to the Browns team, who went 0-16 last year. He took the Browns and made them almost a winning season, almost a winning. He had to do so much more than what SAQUON did. I think he just deserves it. Nothing against SAQUON. It's just Baker Mayfield just did more. He had more against him, and it's just he had more of an impact on his team.
Yeah. Well, all good?
Yeah, all good.
All right, well, I guess we'll move on from that. We both agree that Baker probably should have won Rookie of the Year. Mania, mainly because SAQUON's black. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I'm racist. I'm from Texas.
Yeah, that's maybe why. We'll keep that in. We're not going to edit any of that out. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to, did Patrick Mahomes deserve the MVP award? Mania, go ahead.
Okay, for me, When I look at the stats and what he's done, yes, I know he's not. You can argue he's not the most valuable player on his team. Like he went into a winning team and he was a winning team again, right? So it's kind of like hard to say he's the most valuable player on the team. But like looking at his stats for this year, it's also like hard to not give him a reward. You can't give him Rookie of the Year because he's not a rookie, and but he definitely Offensive Player of the Year. He's done so much. He's got 383 completions, 5,097 receiving yards, 50 touchdowns, with a 8.6 touchdown percentage when it comes to his throws. Like 8.6 of his throws are touchdowns. 13 interceptions, but high up there. But like I said, he got 50 touchdowns, and it's only a 2.1 per interception percentage when it comes to throwing. He got 8.8 yards per throw. He's got 13.3 yards. 318.6 yards per game, and he's got a 113.8 passer rate.
Yeah. So, do you think he should be the MVP, or do you think it should go to someone else?
I think he should be the MVP. Honestly,
okay.
He's done. Yeah, he's done so much. He's got 2 fourth quarter comebacks this year, 2 game-winning drives last year, and while he went into a winning team, he did add 4 wins. And arguably added 5 wins, because I went looking last year. One of the games that they won, he was the starting quarterback. So you can argue that win was on him. So you can argue possibly he added 5 and not just 4. It's just he's done remarkable this year. It's hard not to give him MVP.
Yeah. Anything else, or?
Yeah, that's all I got. I just got the stats in front of me.
All right, so yeah, I basically agree with you, Mania, that he should be the MVP. I was sort of a staunch supporter of giving the MVP to a Drew Brees or an Andrew Luck. Regardless of whether or not, I don't think Drew Brees should have won it because he fell off very hard at the end of the year. Patrick Mahomes stayed consistent. Now, the battle between him and Andrew Luck, I think Andrew Luck still was a little overlooked. But after watching Mahomes' first playoff game, I was able to concede, yeah, he should be the MVP. He played very well. He started the game looking well. He makes good throws. He doesn't really show much fear. And you could tell he is the absolute leader of that football team, even as a second-year player, even with the amount of star power on the team. That is his football team. That is his offense. And the reason they put up those points and those numbers is because Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback. I know the yards might have come a little bit from the guys, but because, I mean, I think Alex Smith threw for like 4,000 yards with that offense, which is incredible. Alex Smith did. And but Mahomes is the man. I think he proved it to everybody this year. Went neck and neck with the Patriots. Almost brought his team back. Maybe if he would have gotten the ball, who knows what would have happened in overtime. He proved he is one of the future guys of this league. Him, Russell Wilson, Jared Goff are going to be battling for years to come for the MVP. Maybe Deshaun Watson, if they can fix the team up, will be in there. I'm not too sure. But the first one to capture the trophy is, of course, Patrick Mahomes. The first of many, probably, yeah, more than likely. It's nice to see. He deserved it. It's weird because I still feel like part of me wants to say no, it should have went to Andrew Luck. He means far more to his team. But I don't think the Chiefs get as far as they did this year without Mahomes, and that's why, yeah, Mahomes is the MVP. I don't think they go to the AFC Championship without him, and that's that.
Yeah, and I do get what you mean. Like, I was going into this, and I was like really wanting to say no to Mahomes. I just wanted to, and I wanted to say like it deserved to Drew Brees, but yeah, he fell off at the end. He didn't even reach 4,000 yards. He got close, but he didn't even reach 4,000. It's just,
yeah. Well, he didn't play in one whole last game, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's that. I took that into consideration, but he did fall off anyway. Let's see. We are at about 24 minutes right now, and we've got about 2 subjects left. Like I said, this is probably going to be a little bit shorter of an episode. We've been a little bit busy this week. We didn't have good subjects to come up with, and the next one's probably going to be a little longer, just because it's going to probably have baseball stuff in it, you know, baseball predictions, and so yeah, that'll probably take up more time, I think. So I don't have a real problem with doing a shorter episode. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't mind doing a shorter episode.
It's just how it crumbles, you know what I mean? We can't force it. I mean, that would be awkward.
Well, we can do what you can. Just
Yeah. But anyway.
Okay, so
the next topic is, of course, who should have been the Super Bowl MVP? Was Julian Edelman deserving of the Super Bowl MVP? I actually need to look at something, so if you would like to go ahead and go first on this topic, you can.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. Okay. I have my stats in front of me already. Like, the MVP of the Super Bowl. Edelman, he did do well. He got 10 receptions, got 141 yards, and with an average of 14.1 yards per reception. So it's like not like he didn't do bad, especially compared to how both offenses played. Both offenses, they didn't really do well at all overall. But like, if an offensive player was going to do it, I would think it'd be the only offensive player to get a touchdown. Like, he had Sony Mitchell. He got 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. The only touchdown of the game. So, but that's if I was to give it to an offensive player. But I don't think it should go to offense. I think it should go to the defense. The defense was doing really well. And so I think someone on defense should have gotten it. And I got 2 people, like Jonathan Jones. He had 6 tackles with 2 assists, and he got a sack. He did really well. And then there's also Stephon Gilmore, 5 tackles, and he had the game sealing interception. He had the interception that confirmed the Patriots win over the Rams. So it's like, I don't think Julian Edelman, he did do well. He was the best receiver there, but like, Sony Mitchell did the only touchdown. Jonathan Jones did 6 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 assisted tackles, and then Stephon Gilmore 5 tackles and game-stealing interception. There were other players that I think were more deserving than this wide receiver, and I probably would have given it to Stephon Gilmore because that game-stealing interception mostly, but he was like this second-ranked defensive player on the Patriots. Whenever I looked at how they were ranked, Jonathan Jones was number 1, and that's why he's in there. But yeah.
So that's your that's who you think should have been the guy?
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore. Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore should have been the Super Bowl MVP, and it should have went to someone on the D. I actually, for what I preached earlier about the Super Bowl being a defensive thing, and the defense should be more praised, I actually disagree. I do not think you could have given anyone on either defense if either team won the Super Bowl MVP, because who do you single out that was the star of any of those defenses? There wasn't one single guy that was the reason those defenses did well. The defenses did well because they played together as a unit. Stephon Gilmore also got burned for like 140 yards to Brandon Cooks. Jonathan Jones, I believe they gave up like 50-60 rushing yards to the Rams, and you know, it's just one of those things where it's like they played well as a unit, and that is potentially why. Also, Stephon Gilmore got really burned by Cooks, and he was lucky McCourty came out and punched a ball out of nowhere. You know that play where they ran to the back of the end zone and McCourty came out of nowhere and broke that pass up? Yeah, that was Michelle. That was Gilmore's blown coverage. I do think it should have went to someone on the offense, and I think you were right on the head when you were talking about Sony Michel. Against that defensive line, he went for 94 yards for 1 touchdown, the game-winning touchdown essentially, and 5.2 yards a carry against Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald. That's pretty goddamn incredible. And then you look at what Julian Edelman did. He was 10 catches for 141 yards and 14 receptions, or 14.1 a catch. I actually retract it, and I think Julian Edelman should have been the MVP of this game. He was the most important person on the offense all game. He was Brady's go-to target. He was extending drives, catching key third down balls. He was uncoverageable. He was constantly making guys like Talib and Peters have to guess who would have to be on him. Consistent mismatch, consistently getting open against a guy like Aqib Talib. That should be noted. He was Brady's. It moved the offense into field goal position both times. He was part of the reason that big last drive happened. The other plays went to Gronkowski. Should he have caught a touchdown, it would have been a no-brainer that he got it. But just because he helped get the ball down to the 1 and they ran it in, that shouldn't give Michel the free MVP just because he ran a 1-yard tut-in. It should go to the guys who set it up and were there all game, and that's Julian Edelman. He was pretty much the only receiver in the game for the Patriots, and he played well. And yeah, I'm fine with him being the MVP. I don't think it can go to the defense though, because who do you single out? It was an entire unit that played well that caused the 3-3 game going into 7 minutes left. So I can't solo or single anybody out and be like, oh, this is the defensive star of this game, when they were all the reason they won. Like, I can't pick one guy.
Yeah, I can see.
So I'm fine with it going to Julian, I guess.
Okay. So, I can see how you do that. Hey, give me pause and do the last one. My phone's like at 0. I don't know how it's still on.
All right. Yep. One moment, everybody. We'll be back in just a second. All right, everybody. We are back now, and we are on our actual final subject. Sorry about the slight delay. We had some technical difficulties from the side of Mania, so let's get this last topic underway, which is what can we expect from the AAF, or what do we think is going to happen in realistic expectations. I will go first to kind of end my spiel for today. From the Alliance of American Football, or AAF, we can expect probably mediocre games, a lot of mistake-filled football, a lot of drop passes, a lot of fumbles. I would imagine early in the league we're going to see a lot of turnovers. It's going to improve as the year goes on. This is the realistic side, I think. This is what we can expect realistically. Poor play at first, followed by pretty good play as the season goes on. And then, at the beginning, we're going to think every team's about equal. And then I think 1 or 2, maybe 3 teams are going to pull ahead of the rest and be the 3 teams to watch, maybe 4 teams to watch going forward. Those will be the 4 playoff teams. And like I said, it's going to be mistake field. It's going to be, a lot of weird stuff that happens. It's going to be different from the NFL with no kickoffs and no extra point tries. You have to do 2-point conversions. You only get the ball at the 25. If you want to do an onside kick, you have to you both line up at like the 30. You line up at the 35 and try to go forward 12 yards on one play. If you don't, other team gets the ball where the ball is downed. So, there's all sorts of fun stuff like that. What I think we can expect is a few guys make it to the NFL out of the league. Probably like Raheem Moore. Maybe Trent Richardson will get a second chance in the NFL. Maybe Matt Linehan might get a shot. I don't know. I don't really have the highest of expectations for the league, as it is basically a league full of guys who didn't make it in the NFL. It's a league full of guys who didn't really excel at combines or on their pro days. It's just guys who just weren't much in the actual NFL. So we're going to see them perform at, they're better than the average college player who just faded into obscurity. These guys tried to stay around, but I don't know. We're going to see, I think, again, we're going to see ugly games, probably lopsided scores, because I think the defenses are going to be uncharacteristically bad. It's going to be an offensively dominated league. Yeah, that's just going to be mistake filled at first. It'll even out toward the end with 4 teams just really stepping ahead of the rest, and then it's kind of like a free for all who actually does end up winning it all. I don't know. It's so hard to tell because we haven't seen them play yet to really decide what's going to happen, but I'm excited as it's going to be a nice bridge to the middle of the baseball season, or May of the baseball season. And yeah, and it'll get us to the draft. It'll get us through free agency. It's a nice pacifier till we have the draft anyway. But yeah, that's all I have to really say. Go ahead.
For me, I also kind of agree it's going to be like pretty ugly football, but I'm not too sure it's like going to be a super offensively dominated. I think there's going to be like a bit too many mistakes at the beginning on offense. I think it's going to be a bit too just low scoring at first, so more defense. Like the defense isn't going to be that good, but it's like going to be low scoring because the offensive mistakes at the beginning. I think there's going to be like coaches out there just like testing their players, seeing what they can do, like testing their limits. And then there's just going to be like a couple teams, not too many, like 2 at most, I think, that's going to like come together this year. I think the other teams might come around better next year, but it's like this year I think only 2 teams are really going to figure themselves out, and the rest are just going to be like changing stuff. There's going to be probably a lot of changes on the team as they try to figure out who is really like going to be a key player on their team and all that. It's just going to be ugly football, but it's going to be like watchable football. You know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be watchable.
It's going to be watchable. It's just not going to be like the best yet. It's maybe not NFL level. It'll be good to watch. It'll be good, especially when the Commanders win it all. Okay, realistically, I don't know. It's a toss-up for who could win, but biasly, it's going to be the Commanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not too. I honestly don't know who to expect to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I feel like it's gonna.
Who knows really what can happen? It's like, you know, some of the names from college, and you go, oh Jesus, and you know, it's fun. It's going to be interesting to watch anyway.
Yeah, maybe frustrating at first for play people as they see some what they would consider dumb mistakes because
they're not playing.
But
the
there's
game, it's going to be very critical. Armchair quarterbacks are going to be hypercritical of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't expect the attendance to be that big though. Like I expect like the attendance to be maybe 1,000, 2,000 at first.
I think all the games. I actually think the games. I think the games sell out at first, and then attendance drops as the year goes on.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna drop.
There's high curiosity. There's high, you know.
Yeah, I think the only team that's gonna end up with big attendance is gonna be like the only teams to make the playoffs. The 4 teams are gonna have good attendance. The rest are gonna have like crappy attendance.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll see as I guess we get closer. I mean, we're only a couple of days away now. Tomorrow, Saturday, is the debut. So.
Yeah.
All right. Are we about good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm out of things to talk about today. So, all right, Mania, you got anything else you want to add? Any last minute things? Any?
The Patriots win this year kind of like sucked ass, and the Commanders are gonna win it all. Go Texas!
Right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of Uncontested, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Subscribe to Mania's channel as well. That's down in the description below. Please leave a comment with what you think about our subjects, what you think, what you thought about them, who did better today, all that fun stuff. And thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your evening. Goodbye.